If you're trying to find the best Amazon repricing tool, this is the video for you. We're reviewing 6 tools, from free options to those costing hundreds of dollars per month, comparing features and real user feedback, both positive and negative. Not only that, we're going to be building a table of user scores so you can objectively see what sellers are saying about each repricer to help you figure out which one might be the best for you. A disclaimer, this video includes third-party opinions. Always verify the information before you make a purchase. What can I recommend for you? Always test the repricers. Most of these repricers are going to offer free trials. See what works for you. Take note of the common complaints we discussed, and if you experience them too, it might not just be you, it could actually be the repricer. So let's start with the free option. Now, most sellers are going to overlook this. What is it? It's Amazon's own built-in repricer, which is included in Seller Central on any professional selling account. It's worth considering, especially when you're just starting out, because let's have a think about the features. Its biggest strength is going to be speed. Since it runs inside Amazon and it doesn't need to talk to external servers and then communicate back to Amazon like other tools, it's probably going to be one of the fastest repricers you are actually going to get because it updates on Amazon's own internal cycle. Just be aware, it is a rule-based repricer, not AI-driven like many of the other ones we're going to talk about. So you can set it to match or beat the lowest price, compete for the buy box, or even compete versus external prices like sellers on Walmart, for example. Though I wouldn't do that. You can manage it directly within Seller Central or through an API for bulk updates. And it supports min-maxes, B2B's pricing, and even quantity discounts, which can be really beneficial. Now, it's simple, fast, and free. So if you are just getting started, this could be a really good option if you've got a couple of ASINs that you're selling and you don't want to invest into a full-fledged repricer right now. This could be a great starting point. But let's talk about the reviews. Some of the things that you are going to see around are people commenting, I'm going to trust Amazon to lower the prices, but I don't trust Amazon to raise them, which I think is a key feature and we're going to talk about in the other repricers coming up. The thing you've got to understand here is that Amazon's incentive is to get sales, not to make you more money. So therefore, their tools are likely to do that. That sentiment, again, is repeated here by another seller who stated, how come the price only goes down and never comes back up? And that is something that you're probably going to recognize within Amazon Seller Central's feedback. Now, I want to talk about the positive sides of Amazon's repricer. Number one, it's free. And guess what? We love free. And you can see here, one person mentioned they're currently spending $2,400 per year on a repricing tool, and Amazon's got its own free repricer. So why not use it? This is something that can be super useful if you are just getting started and you've got, again, a couple of ASINs that you want to try and you need to think about repricing. Even a free repricer which goes down is probably going to be better than no repricing at all when it comes to competing against sellers with repricers. Now, I think my top tip for you here is going to be just make sure you are checking your prices every single day and probably putting them back up again so that the repricer can come down. That's the top tip. In regards to pricing, as I mentioned before, it is free and is built into Amazon Seller Central. And it's probably going to be one of the easiest ways to get started. So you can just start playing around with a couple of ASINs. I did mention earlier on that sellers have mentioned it does not go up in price. So that allows me to talk about my next repricer and one of its features that it does. So let's go with the repricer that I actually use. And this is a repricer called Seller Snap. Now, before we dive into the features, I want to be upfront. I actually use this repricer myself, and guess what? I really like it. I've tried plenty over the years, but this has been my go-to for quite some time. And if you do want to check it out, there is a link in the description down below for 10% off. And a quick top tip, right now they're also offering this for just $100 per month if you're doing less than $15,000 per month in monthly sales. What you got to do is just book a support call with them while you're on the 15-day free trial and mention you came from FastTrackFBA, and they'll get you on that. So top tip there. Let's jump into the features itself. Now, really simple, I'll talk you through. Again, they talk about the world's most advanced AI repricer, and you're going to hear that a lot, but actually, I really like them. I like the way they work. So AI repricing, and they also do Walmart as well, if you're one of those sellers. Now, they talk a lot about this thing called game theory, about how their repricer works, and you're going to hear a lot of these kind of buzzwords from a lot of repricers, but again, at the end of the day, it's going to be the one that works for you. Again, you've got simple things like min calculations, you can reprice off ROI, replenishments, take control, set custom rules using AI or your own kind of repricing logic if you want to do that. You've got great dashboards which help you to understand what's going on, and you could do it across many different marketplaces. The one thing which I do love about them is they have great support, and again, you can book that one-to-one support call, which I think is great. Let's jump over to ChatGTP and actually start with the negative side and then go to the positive. Now, the reason why I'm doing it through ChatGTP, because obviously it's a great search tool, but I think it's really important to get an unbiased opinion. I can obviously pick out great reviews, but I don't want to do that. I use this tool and I think that's not fair. But let's have a look at what ChatGTP, which is generally impartial, comes back and talk about the results there. And we'll do it for every single repricing tool we're going through. Here are several negative or critical observations about Seller Snap. So, high cost. It is expensive, and we'll talk about that price in a minute. So, costs over $500 per month, and some of the packages are that or even more, and we'll look at that in a minute. In another review, it's not cheap for smaller sellers, which I think is an important part, and the repricing appears to be a barrier for low volume sellers. So serious sellers I know do use this repricing tool. Now, the learning curve, it says one noted it can be hard to navigate for beginners as a con. I'd probably disagree, but I think, it's up to you. The software described as an advanced piece of software with many controls, meaning more setup and mastery may be required. Thus, if you're just getting started and don't have time to fine tune, this might be overwhelming. Now, the one thing I'll say to anyone looking at Repricer, you really want to fine tune it. I spend 3 days setting up my Repricer, watching it, seeing what's happening, and just really making sure it's good. If you get it wrong, it has a big impact. And then it says limited or multi-channel non-Amazon marketplace support. It says only works at Amazon, but actually they've just released Walmart, so we can see that on their website. But here you can see it says Walmart. It says if you're selling on Walmart, you might find the platform less flexible, which has now changed. So some reviews imply the benefit is more pronounced for high volume sellers, and it'd be overkill for Amazon sellers who are newer. And maybe, but again, they've got that new pricing, so very interesting. But I'd probably say for negative reviews here, there's nothing really too bad. The tool is light on data, for example, orders, and I'd agree the tool itself does not include like sales history of the products you've sold. You can see something about your sales. It's not really a P&L software. It's a repricing tool, so that's good. In summary, in short, many users praise Seller Snap, while the downsides are expensive, steep learning curve, only for Amazon, and small sellers, those who may get less value. And to be honest, negative reviews, that's not that bad. So let's look at the positive side. Okay, so we've got some positive reviews coming in. So one review from Trustpilot, Premier Repricer Master. It costs the most, but it's because it consistently produces more fodder than other repricers. It's worth noting that customer service is great. Georgie from the CS team has been an invaluable asset. Fine, fantastic. Generally works well, avoiding those annoying price wars. So you've got some positives about that. Advanced machine learning helps its repricer set the best max price. I like that feature. It means you don't have to set max prices on the repricer. Really useful. Case study, great responsive support. Again, support mentioned, which I really like. And Seller Snap, by far the most comprehensive repricer reviews. Great data, very easy to use. So summary key strengths, profit and margin, doesn't just chase the lowest price, that maintains profitability whilst maintaining the buy box. Avoids price wars. This is generally where you're crashing the price, and I'd agree with that. One thing I like about it. Time saving, I definitely agree. I've saved so much time using that repricer. And good support for large catalogs, many SKUs. Very good support, so really like that as well, and absolutely fantastic. And again, they're just giving that, while we mention the positive reviews, it may have a learning curve. So I think that's really important. Now, the one thing I should say is I'm sharing this because I think it's important to be unbiased when I talk about these. And obviously, I use the Repricer, so I don't want to be too biased. Okay, so let's go on to the pricing. So right now, obviously, we're here onto the Seller Snap screen with the pricing, and you can see, they're looking about $175 per month. And that's actually on the pay Andy. So flick over to monthly. You're looking $250 per month. 500, so it's definitely not cheap. It's on the higher side. And then obviously you got unlimited as well. Now they do get everything. The only difference is number of marketplaces, users, the SKU count, and then revenue. And again, if you're doing less than that 15,000 per month and you want to check it out, you can actually get it for $100 per month. Just make sure you trial the 15-day free trial, book a support call, mention you came from FastTrackFBA and want that $100 per month. And obviously you can get that as well. So check that out. Have a look in the description, the link down below. Now let's go look at the review websites, and I want to build up that table of review websites. So you can see right here, Seller Snap AI Repricer on G2 has got only 2 reviews, but has got 5 out of 5. So we'll put that into the scorecard, and then we'll come over into Trustpilot, and you can see here it's got 67 reviews, which is a lot more, and it's got 4.5. So let's put that into the table, and obviously we'll start building that table out over the course of this video so you can get a really good picture of the general feedback from a lot of people using these tools to make a more informed decision. let's get on to the next repricer. Okay, so let's go now with probably one of the biggest repricers on the market, and this is called Be Cool. Now, Be Cool is huge. Like, you're going to see this around everywhere. And let's jump onto actually their website and have a look at some of the features. So again, coming in right now, they talk about their artificial intelligence, rule-based repricing. So again, everyone talks about AI. This stuff is the buzzword. Again, it's got to be what works for you, hence why we say test it. Now, AI-powered repricing, so talk about data source, conditional repricing, so you can choose first-time repricer, AI repricing, rule-based repricing, or kind of looks like a combination of both. And I'd actually use BeCool as well. Okay, so now let's jump over into ChatGPT and see what some of the negative reviews are, and then we'll go into the positive side. Okay, so we just typed into ChatGPT, can you give me some negative reviews of BeCool repricing software over the last year? And let's see what it came up with. So a couple of feedbacks here. So from Trustpilot, BeCool is the worst reprice on the market. I lost over 10,000 with it because it doesn't respect minimum prices and will not raise your price as often as other repricers. BeCool is morally bankrupt. Now, I'm not saying I agree with any of this, but again, we're trying to get an unbiased opinion. We just use ChatGPT to get that. Alleged failure of minimum repricing settings and how the company handled it. BeCool, because it tanks prices, people would pay Trustpilot to remove reviews, again, tanking prices. Far away, the top reason people are abandoning BeCool is price tanking. So another review on that one, that was about 9 months ago. And then we've got a review here come in, terrible app, doesn't work, makes us lose money, support is unknowledgeable. And then from a blog review, the versatility of BeCool at the same time is its main disadvantage. Service does have a specific niche, and it's not entirely clear what the needs are best suited. So again, that's come back in like February this year, 2025. So summary of key points. Automatic price drop, race to the bottom. So it's like we're talking about price tanking. And again, I'm not saying these are true. I'm not even saying this is what the software does, but what I am saying is let's try and be unbiased and ask ChatGPT to bring a selection of negative and positive reviews to help us see what some of the problems have been. And if you try these tools, if you see that same thing, it might not be you or the way you set up, could be the tool itself. But let's go through minimum price rule issues, poor customer support, perceived lack of transparency and complexity, reliability and performance reliability issues. So again, user reviews don't affect individual experiences. So again, do your own research. Some interesting points there, and I think you've got to take it with a pinch of salt, but again, use your own discretion, use a 15-day trial, test out all these reprices. Let's have a look at positive reviews right now for BeCool. Okay, so we've got here, so coming in, we've got a 5-star review. I've been using BeCool Repricer for a while now, and it's completely transformed my business and the way I manage my store. The AI repricer is fast, smart, and it helps me win the buy box much more often without sacrificing profit. Great thing there. I like the customizable settings, and the dashboard is clear and easy to use. Their support is excellent and always quick to respond. Overall, BeCool will save you a lot of time and money. And I think, look, whenever you're using any repricer, it's going to really help you out. And again, you've got to does that repricer work for you? Really, really good. Now, I've been using it the last few years, tried other repricers. I can personally say this repricing software is the best. There is a learning curve, but once you understand it, they have great tutorials. It's super easy to manage. I've used multiple levels of service, and I would recommend to any Amazon business. Reviewers feel BeCool Repricing Central makes managing Amazon pricing easier, helping them updates, save time, and boost sales. Trustpilot says here, a really versatile piece of software that can help me keep on top of my business. So overall, positive reviews. They like the automation, the time saving, the buy box, sales improvement, rules, strategies, good value for money. And I think definitely agree with that. You'll see in a minute, this is probably one of the cheapest repricers out there, and useful support and tutorials. So again, got to do your own research. Let's go have a look at that pricing now. Okay, so let's just come down into BeCool Repricing Central. So they've got options starting from 25, 50, 100, and obviously going all the way up. And you can kind of see here, it's got the kind of like tick box. The one thing which I will add, I think it's quite important to highlight this, is that you might think you get $25 AI repricing because it says here, but actually the AI, you do get AI sales maximizer on the $25, but you won't get the, that's the win buy box. You don't get the AI boost profit. You can see that's ticked out, uncrossed there. So if you do want the profit ones, you do need to do the AI deluxe model, which is $50. So I think that's an important point. But again, lots of optionality here that you can do, like sell through, age, and obviously lots of marketplaces as well. Doesn't look like it does Walmart, but again, this isn't really a big part of it. Like, we are really just looking at how much does it cost per month to run a repricing software. This is probably one of the biggest repricers out there, and they are probably one of the cheapest as well. So obviously a great choice if you're thinking about getting started as well. Now let's jump over to reviews, and you can see right here on G2, BeCool has got 3 3 reviews and a total of, I think, 3.7 stars. So we'll put that into the table. And then we'll jump over to Trustpilot. And you can see here, Be Cool has actually got 164 reviews, which is the most so far, a lot. It's got about 3.8 star review. So again, we'll put that into the table. So let's go with probably one of the most complex repricers on the market. That if you want customization, this is going to be the thing that you want to be thinking about. I mean, it's got a lot of customization. And I know people who've been doing over $10 million a year alone who really recommend this because it's got that level of customization. What is it? It's called Channel Max. Now, let's kind of go through the features and have a look at it. Now, Channel Max, you can come in Amazon Repricer. It does lots of different features, which we're going to go through. Again, they got that trial 30 days to use it for yourself. Again, it's got a lot. They're talking about algorithmic repricing, buy box rotation, and obviously you've got the refund manager in there. So you can search, you can do a lot of stuff. This is actually, again, this is quite a complex repricer. So we'll look at repricing itself and jump in. So real-time repricing, buy box, they talk about here, algorithm, big data, cloud computing, intelligent. The one thing I'd say, this is a really complex repricer. I say complex. I mean, you can program this to do exactly what you want it to do in very, very fine detail, probably to a level that you can't with the other ones. And you could probably just tell that the UI probably isn't going to be the easiest. That's one of the things I definitely looked in the review. We'll talk about that. And you can definitely probably see that on their website as well. It's not the cleanest website, but if you want flexibility, it's going to have a lot of opportunity. So you can see here lots and lots of technicalities going on with this that's going to help you out if that's what you're looking for. Okay, so let's look at some negative reviews of Channel Max over the course of the last year. Now, what I will say is generally there aren't going to be as many reviews. It says here, no, I did not find a large volume detailed of negative reviews from the last year specifically. And I think that's an important point. So a lot of this might be actually from prior years. So again, overwhelming number of settings and a steep learning curve. That's certainly something that I've heard many, many times from other sellers using the software. Again, if you want that functionality, this could be the right option for you, but it could be overwhelming for less technical users. Poor onboarding, support for setup. They dump you straight into the settings with no guidance. So for someone who isn't really experienced in repricing software, the setup may feel unsupported. User interface language issues. They criticize UI and language ability. The entire site is written in broken English. Again, that could be an old one. Another review says design lacks user appeal and slightly outdated. And I think if you remember looking at their website, I'd probably agree with that. I think that's something to think about. Speed, responsive concern. So did you actually test the speed? I did, and Channel Max is super slow in my case. Interesting. I've actually heard that other people have had really good experience with it because it's very technical, but I don't know. Limited kinds of competitor pricing strategies. It forces you to only reprice against the lowest competitor. I don't think I saw AI repricing on the website, which I think is something to think about. But again, use the trial. And then lack of up-to-date public reviews. So again, ChatGPT is saying there's not really much public reviews on this one. So again, what we can kind of probably know is this isn't going to be one of the bigger repricers, but if you want technical repricing, this could be for you. Okay, so let's look at some of the positive reviews that ChatGPT comes back about Channel Max. We got here, and again, this is coming back from a long time ago. So we got the last 12 months are very limited. So back in 2023, pricing is very fair. They charge less per month and provide a superior service, nearly all regards. So repricing speed is fast, very customizable, and support is incredible. And these guys run a $4 million per year business. And again, the one thing I'd say is if someone's doing a lot of money in sales on their business and they choose this repricer, they're probably not going to be choosing a bad repricer. That's a thing to think about. But again, it's probably going to work for them. Something to think about. It's one of the fastest out there, so it could be something to think about. If you want a fast repricer, it could be a good option. Very fast, effective repricing, lots of features, excellent customer service, competitive pricing, budget friendly, works perfectly. So again, they kind of talked about these kind of areas. But again, what we are not seeing is a lot of very recent reviews. These are older reviews. So you've got to keep that in mind. Comparison to more recent software might not be the same. We just don't know. You've got to try that 30-day free trial. Okay, so let's talk about pricing. Well, you can see right here, it starts about $34.99. And it looks like they're doing it off SKU limit. And it says here real-time Amazon repricing plans. But then it also has this regular Amazon repricing plan. So I'm guessing that means if it's not as fast repricing, you can do more for less price. So that's an interesting one. Also as well, they have like other amounts. You can also list to eBay, inventory sync, and Amazon search. Not 100% understand what this means, but obviously they're like it's very nuanced pricing. But the one thing I will add, if you look here, $34.99 for 500 SKUs. If you're a brand new seller and you want a cheaper repricer, could be a good option. Looks like it could actually be cheaper than, should we say, maybe Be Cool if you're doing a lot of SKUs. could be an option to think about there. Now, let's go into the reviews themselves. So Channel Max, you can see here, 5 reviews, 4.4 stars. Let's put that into the table. And then on Trustpilot, it's got 2 reviews and it's got a 3.8. So we'll put that into the table as well so you can see that. Okay, so the next Repricer is one that actually, I will be honest, I have not used myself, but I have heard a few people using it and they had positive experiences, and it's actually quite up and coming. I'm seeing a lot more about it popping around. Now, it's been around for a while, but I am hearing more and more about it. So people are searching for it. What is it? It's Informed Repricer. Let's kind of go through some of the features. So again, no more price wars. And again, that's talking about that price crashing, which I think is a really important consideration. So again, they do a free trial. And again, you should make use of that. So 40,000 online sellers, which is great. Win more buy boxes. So they increase their buy box ownership, set and forget, raise the buy box price. That's the key thing. Remember, Amazon doesn't do that on their own one. That's something you're looking at. 15 years experience in there. And again, increase your profit, strategies that work for you. And they got some nice reviews there. So again, you can see sync with other popular tools, inventory labs, web scraper app, super efficient. So lots going on. Works for lots of different types of sellers and also lots of different marketplaces as well. And I can even see here Amazon and Walmart if that's something that you're looking for. Let's jump on to negative reviews of Informed Repricer. Well, what does ChatGPT say over the last year? So it says there are a couple of several negative reviews over the past year. And again, the software is unreliable and not worth the time and money invested. I suggest avoiding the hassle and finding a repricing solution. From G2, informed profit calculations rarely match the realities of Amazon's FBA calculator. Other repricers seem to be able to get this right, but Informed tends to just blow off any feedback. The reprice appears to be one of the slowest we've tested. And since there are other on the market that can reprice every 3 to 5 minutes, I think Informed is more like every 15 minutes. The interesting thing I will say about that is that you have 2 types of repricing. One is the repricing software itself, how quick that reprices, and then it sends its information to Amazon, and Amazon might not update for another 15 minutes. So just be aware of that. But again, test it yourself. Pricing is straightforward and clear, but it can get a bit high. So it looks like it could be expensive, and we'll see that in the repricing section. I would like to see the ability, website is slow to load and takes time to navigate around, logs me out too quickly, always having to log in, which takes time as the site is slow. And that is actually dated 2020, so probably not relevant now. Up until this week, my plan was 25, covered all marketplaces. In order to maintain the same services, it would now cost $200 per month, and this is an extortionate price increase. Could be the case that they actually had an increase, and again, dated older than 1 year ago. So actually, that's a really old review. So pain points, people talking about calculations and speed. So I think if you are looking at this, keep an eye on that during your trial, and obviously you can see if that's going to be helpful. Let's look at the positive sides. Great user interface, flat fee pricing model saves us the time, which is interesting because the other negative reviews didn't talk about that. That charge a percentage of sales. And that's right. Some other repricers actually charge you a percentage of sales you make. Personally, I don't like that at all. Having one tool that can handle both Amazon and Walmart repricing is really useful. I think that's good if you sell on both, absolutely. And the repricing algorithm is intelligent enough not to lower pricing when it doesn't need to. That's really, really good. So Informed Repricer has been pivotal for us. The Informed Repricer is very user-friendly, even so there's a limited to no exposure repricing tools. There are several strategies to choose from when setting prices. It is reasonably priced compared to other repricers, and customer service is accessible and prompt. So that users value ease of use, good customer support. That's great. So Walmart repricing a bit slower. And actually, I would probably say that's true. Not saying I've used this, but I think Walmart's repricer in general is slower, which is really annoying. I think that's a Walmart problem, not Amazon. And even ChatGPT is saying here, if I were to distill it, it says it's a solid choice for online sellers. Let's go have a look at pricing. Okay, so Informed Repricer, you can see here, they've got expansion, everything professional seller needs, starting at $149 per month. It used to be $199, now $149. And again, you get that 14-day free trial, so definitely worth using. And it says foundation, if you're generating less than $5,000 in sales, you can do the $100 per month option. So if you're doing less than $5,000 per month, try that. Otherwise, you could be $149. I would probably just ask, I don't know the answer, but does that go up with usage? We see it with a lot of other repricers. More SKUs or more revenue, you pay more than a repricer. That would be a question I'd ask. I don't know the answer. So really interesting. But again, they've got additional add-ons, additional stores, business repricing, and priority support. So very interesting there. Let's check out the reviews overall. So in G2, we've got 13 reviews and they've got 3.9 stars. Let's put that onto the actual table. And then in Trustpilot, we can see they've got 4 reviews and 3.5 stars. So again, let's put that into the table. Now let's go into the final Repricer of the reviews. And this is one that I've actually met the founder of, I know, and I've actually seen many sellers using this Repricer. What is it? It's called Aurora or Go Aurora. And let's go through the features right now. Okay, so they talk about AI-powered Walmart and Amazon Repricer, and that kind of seems a new thing now. So if you're selling on Amazon, also probably could be selling on Walmart, and so one Repricer to do both is going to save you a lot of hassle. And again, free 14-day trial. Again, you got to use that. Check these out. I think you could probably get like 3 months of free repricing by using all the trials. That's definitely something I'd recommend. Now, again, let's give you a bit of an understanding of the way it looks like. So you can see here, looks very clean, very modern. I like the look of that. AI optimal strategies in real time. So very simple. And then hyperdrive. This is something they talk about. So quickly updates your top 50 Amazon listings in under 10 seconds. So again, speed. And remember, we talked about the repricer, how quick that updates, and then Amazon can take its time as well. So it's really 2 parts to repricing. So keep that in mind. And then workflows, pricing activity, upload reports, integrations, auto min-max, lots of features. And then support is never outsourced. So again, they got world-class support based in the US, which I think is a great thing. Being able to contact them, around, that's really, really useful. And then obviously you can try it for 14 days. But let's go look at the negative reviews as per ChatGPT. Okay, so first things first, it says, I could not locate sufficient number of detailed public posted negative reviews over the last year to give a full list, which I think is fair because we've probably seen throughout the whole of this review that getting lots of information about these is quite challenging. And one of the reasons why I'm doing it through ChatGPT is because I want to try and be impartial. So this is just going to be a very small sample, which doesn't represent everything. So some users reported the UI interface is less intuitive than expected for newcomers to repricing. Few sellers report that did not always catch certain competitive pricing changes fast enough or as expected on their marketplace listings. And there are mentions of customer support delays. Well, interesting enough, we did just see it is US-based support, but I think it's working out. So that could be understandable. And then some users felt the cost to value ratio could be improved. For smaller sellers, the pricing plan felt a little high. Now, we'll see the pricing in a minute. But again, a lot of these more advanced repricers aren't going to be as cheap because they are pretty expensive to run. So again, not a lot of reviews, but just something to think about. So let's jump over to positive. Again, ChatGPT is coming back. I wasn't able to locate many detailed public positive reviews from the past year, which I think is fair. But what review do we see? Some Amazons say Aurora Repricer helped them automate repricing across many listings. Few users mentioned that once the initial setup learning curve was over, the repricer behaves reliably in a set and forget mode, maintaining the buy box competitiveness. And I think that's an important point. What we don't want to do is any tool is have to spend more time on it. Saving time is one of the key metrics we look at along with making money. And one user noted that Royal support team was helpful when encountered a configuration issue. So that's great. Again, US-based support. But again, it's quite brief. We're not seeing huge number of reviews out there right now. So again, this is something to think about. And again, we want to be looking at those reviews that are recent. Okay, so when we come to raw repricing, let's flick over to monthly because they all love showing the annual. Starter is actually $47 per month, so that's very competitive in comparison to Be Cool, for example. So great point there. And then obviously goes up to $100 nearly, or $97 and $197. So what have we got? So we've got listings, unlimited, but again, they do it on monthly sales. So that's the big key metric, up to 15K, up to 50K, 250K. Marketplaces, Amazon and Walmart. And then obviously how many AI, I don't know what Maven is, that'd be nice to know. But the idea is you can see how many listings you can reprice using AI, hyperdrive, workflows, user chat, priority support. And it looks like the priority support is on the pro plan. But again, it could be a really good option if you're getting started. That's a very cheap price, $47. Actually, I think the cheapest price we've seen. No, channel maxes, tell the line. Now, let's go look at the actual review scores and see what they say. Okay, so Aurora, you can see here, it's got 5 reviews, of which it's got 4.2. So let's put that into the table. And then when we come over to Trustpilot, it's called Go Aurora rather than Aurora, which is the old name of the repricer. And it's got 6 reviews and 3 stars on that one. So again, put that in the table. Now, the one thing we can see when we look at this table now finally completed is really simply, you can see that actually Be Cool has probably got the most number of reviews. But actually, I'd probably say that Seller Snap has got the highest feedback scores and actually have a really decent number of Trustpilot reviews, which I think is very representative. Now, I've tried quite a lot of different repricers, not all of these, but I would say that I use Seller Snap. I try to be very transparent about that. I really like them, but that works for me and my business. And actually, I have many friends of mine who do not use it and they use another repricer. So it does not necessarily mean that there is one right or one wrong repricer that everyone should be using. It's got to be the one that you like and that works for your business. And again, as we've seen today, they all have free trials. You should be using those free trials and testing them out. I think you can create about 3 months of free repricing by using those trials. Now, again, if you do want to use Seller Snap, make sure you use my link in the description down below, and you can get it for that $100 per month. Just make sure you call up support and tell them that you want to do the $100 per month option, and that's going to be a really good option for you. Now, I've gone through a number of repricers in this video, and honestly, there is no single best repricer. It's the right repricer is the one that fits your business. So take advantage of those free trials. Now, what I would say is regardless of the repricer that you choose, it's all about the setup. And what I want to share with you is how I actually set up Seller Snap. And I use 2 rules, and you can use the same rules in any of the repricers we've used here. And the reason why I've done that is because it's simple and effective strategy for building repricing rules that actually drive results. Regardless of the repricer you're using, having 2 rules can be very useful. So check out the video around here where I talk about how I set that up, and you can apply it to your own repricer and use the same strategy in your own business. That's just going to make your life so much easier by using a great strategy with a repricer that you really like. Now, if you found this video helpful, make sure you give me a big thumbs up. And hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss any future videos. Thank you very much.